everybody, and welcome to Water Talk, powered by Water Online. My name is Angela Godwin, and my guest today is Bill Decker. Bill, thank you for being with me.
Great. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So Bill is Vice President and General Manager of Equipment Services Group with Aqua-Aerobic Systems, but that's not all. You're also a member of WWEMA. For people that are watching who don't know what WWEMA is, can you explain?
Sure. So WWEMA is the Water and Wastewater Equipment Manufacturers Association. It's the only trade association that works exclusively for manufacturers in the water industry. And I'm currently the vice chair of WWEMA for this year.
Excellent. So what does that mean? What do you actually do within the organization?
So within WWEMA, I sit on a number of the committees, but one of my primary roles this year was to chair the Washington Forum, which is a meeting every April that covers policy and regulatory issues within the water industry. Mm-hmm. And I continue to serve on the executive committee in other committees as well.
Yes. And I will say I've been to that Washington Forum meeting, and it's really an incredible source of information and really shows that WWEMA's got its finger on the pulse of what's going on
Absolutely.
In the Capitol, right? Now, are you the only individual from your company that's participating in the group?
No. For us to get full value out of WWEMA, we try to take a variety of people to WWEMA. So we usually have 2 or 3 people in presence at all the major meetings. And then we participate heavily in the Finance and Contract Administrators Council, every summer. So we send literally everyone that touches contracts within our company to that training as well. We find WWEMA to be incredibly valuable if we participate. So we try to take full advantage of all the meetings.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the Washington Forum and of course the Finance and Contract Administration. Are there other meetings?
There are. There's a President's Council that's every fall where somebody senior from a number of companies can come in, and we focus exclusively on things that group of people want to talk about, whether it's health insurance or whether it's material issues or whether it's employment issues. And it's a free forum that we can talk at a senior level and kind of get a feel for what's happening in the industry. There's also an annual meeting every fall that's a broad variety of topics that are relevant to the industry. It's not specifically regulatory and legislative driven. It's all the other issues that come into the water industry.
Sure. Now, I imagine, a company has to be selective about the kinds of groups that they participate in, like WWEMA. So why is this group important for you, for Aqua-Aerobic? What does it benefit?
Wayne Gretzky kind of summed it up and said, you want to skate to where the puck's going to be. And WWEMA helps us get there. So one of the things that we participate in WWEMA is not just reacting to legislative issues, but trying to weigh in and be someone there that's a voice drafting the positions. So as an example, in Buy America right now, it's a concern to a lot of manufacturers. WWEMA's been instrumental in meeting with the EPA and the White House Office of Buy America so that we can literally be on the front line helping to give them feedback on what the outcome is going to be of different ways they implement the legislation. And it won't change the federal law, but it certainly changes the way EPA is going to implement the law. And it gives us firsthand information about what that law really means to us as manufacturers. That's one of many examples that we could have, but that's one. We look at ways that we develop our younger employees coming up. They get involved in regulatory issues, legislative issues. They start to meet key decision makers. They start to meet other people in the industry, and they grow up within the industry. They expand their knowledge exponentially, and it sharpens their skill set for us as an employer. So we find it incredibly valuable to take younger employees there to let them develop along the way.
That's great. It shows a real investment, in the future of your company by involving the.
It is, and we think it's a way that our company can certainly help give back to the industry. To do these things, participate in drafting talking points about environmental issues that we can pass along to people in the EPA or in congressional offices, so they are educated on what the PFAS issues really are, and what possible solutions are.
Yep. Now, I know that you also serve on the ETAC committee. First of all, for our viewers, if you could explain what ETAC is.
So ETAC is a federal advisory committee. It's the Environmental Technologies Trade Advisory Committee. It's a statutory committee established under the Department of Commerce. And we have about 40 companies that participate in that. And they literally bring to the Secretary of Commerce ideas or things that we can do to increase our competitiveness on environmental exports, both products and services.
Wow.
And I've been serving on that committee now for 10 years and been honored to chair the committee for the past 4 years.
That is incredible. And that really, you must really feel kind of plugged in, right, to the ground level of decision-making in Washington. That's incredible.
I'm not sure that it's plugged into the ground level decision-making,
On the
but it's certainly,
side,
it's certainly plugged in on the issues and it certainly plugged in on recommendations that go into the
Yeah,
decisions.
to have that
So
voice.
yeah, so it is nice to be able to see that, and certainly under this administration, we've seen tangible actions taking place at the commerce level on some of our recommendations.
Yeah.
And as commercial businesses, that's great to see the federal government working in partnership with the private enterprises.
That's great, Bill. That's awesome. So, there are some meetings coming up this year. What does the calendar look like for WWEMA for the rest of this year?
So we've got the Finance and Contract Administration meeting coming up in July.
Yeah.
We've got in September, I believe, is the President's Council.
Okay.
And in October, November time frame will be the annual meeting. And there's more information on all of those meetings at the WWEMA website, WWEMA.org.
Perfect.
And we can also reach out if someone wants to, contact me about it. I'd be happy to give them information.
Excellent.
But the Finance and Contractors Administration is open to members and non-members. And the President's Council is open to only members. And the annual meeting, you can be a non-member and attend, but it's restricted on the number of non-member attendees.
It's really designed for the membership.
It's absolutely designed for the membership.
Yeah, excellent. So, okay, WWEMA.org is
Yes.
where you find a lot more information. Any final words of encouragement for others to consider joining WWEMA?
Yeah, I think that if you back look at trade associations in general, they can be expensive to join. We look at it and say it's not a expense that we don't get a solid return on. We as a company weigh that every year, and every year we look at it and say we're going to continue to do this because we believe it to be important to our company, and we believe it helps us in the industry. So again, we think it's well worth the investment as a company, and I'm a solid vote for yes for anybody that wants to find out more about the association.
Excellent. Well, Bill, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your passion, obviously passion for WWEMA and what it does.
And again, I appreciate you guys doing these online interviews. It's always a great pleasure to do this. And
let's have a lot of fun. Thanks, Bill. This has been Water Talk, powered by Water Online. My name is Angela Godman.